So in the Gospel this morning and in the readings, we've come to what really matters in the final analysis. And in the readings this morning, Jesus especially is talking about what is real and unreal. And that's something I feel that I honestly don't know. The church seems to have missed out very much on that, because the things that Jesus emphasized as the all-important things in life, we seem to push into the background and make something else more, much more important. And many of you here are old enough to remember, and from your school days and probably through most of your life, many of us as Catholics think the most important thing is to have our backside in a pew on a Sunday morning, huh? And that's not. Now, I'm not saying for one moment don't come to Mass, and I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're glad that I'm here. But Jesus didn't. Strange to say, he didn't mention that, huh? He didn't mention that. He was much more practical. He said, how do you treat one another? How do you treat each other? How do we treat people that we meet? Doesn't matter what they are, how much they have, or how little they have. How do we treat one another? Do we show love? And in the final analysis, failure to love is total failure in life. Failure to love. So let's apply that in a more practical way and maybe bring it home to how we can do that. Just tell you a little story. A bejeweled lady stepped out of a very prestigious hotel one night in London, and she'd been at a very expensive dinner and ball and dinner for the homeless. And as she was about to get into her chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce, a homeless person approached her and said, "Ma'am, have you got any change? I'm hungry and I haven't eaten for 2 days." She looked at him and she said, "You ungrateful wretch. Do you not realize I've been dining and dancing for you all night?" What would you call that? Because if the cap fits, wear it. What would you call that? Well, I would call that passive compassion, or compasio a longe, to coin a Latin phrase. You know, compassion from a distance. Don't get involved at a distance, from a distance, rather than practical compassion. Practical compassion means getting involved. That's what Jesus is talking about in the gospel this morning, getting involved. As you know, because you've seen me, I do a lot of walking around, and it's very interesting when you walk and you meet all kinds of people. So I befriended quite a few of the people around here who were homeless. And on Friday morning, I was up near Garfield Park, and there's a homeless man up there that I meet very often, and we're friends now, really. And he was telling me how people treat him. It was very sad to hear, but one little incident that happened very recently. Somebody saw him there sitting one day, and they said to him, "Why are you lying around here? Why don't you go and get a job like everybody else?" And he says, "Because I'm not fit to work." And he said, "Oh, I have heard that story before." And then and then he took a $5 bill out of his pocket and he said, "Here, take that. Go and get yourself something to eat." And the man said to him, "I don't need your money." He said, "You fool, take it." And he threw the $5 note at him. Now, he probably said, "I gave $5 today to a homeless man." Good for him. But did he? You know, did he? Did he? Here's another question for you. How often have you stopped to talk to a homeless person and to ask him, "How are you doing?" How are you doing? Treat him like you would anybody else. When did you last shake hands with a homeless person? Or would you feel that you would be contaminated? Is that how you'd feel? Well, don't want to touch him. Probably he's not clean. Don't know where his hand has been. That kind of approach. Now, only you can answer that. They're human beings, every bit as important in the eyes of God as any one of us here in this beautiful, comfortable church this morning. And most of us, and I include myself, we feel very comfortable. We feel very good. I go to Mass every Sunday. But Jesus said, it's more than that. What do you do when you go out that door? That's what Jesus is talking about in the Gospel this morning. What do you do out there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? It's good, and I'm not saying it's wonderful that you come to Mass on a Sunday, because you cannot substitute anything else for the celebration of the Eucharist. But what you do on a Sunday is the beginning of what you do out there during the week. Believe me, it is. It is. I think most people don't even hear it. But I'm very conscious. I really am. When at the very end of Mass, the last words I say to you is, "Go now in peace to love and serve the Lord." Every time you come to Mass, you are commissioned. It's not a question of coming to Mass, that's it for a week and you're gone. You are commissioned. You are given a task. You are told. But most people, "Oh, thanks be to God, I'm gone. Get out here, get out of here." You are commissioned. You are sent on a mission. The old Latin phrase was, "Ita missa est." Go now and carry out what we have celebrated and done here. And that's what the Gospel this morning is about. And that's what you're going to be asked for when you finally meet the Lord. He's not going to ask you, "Did you ever have a bad thought? Did you ever tell a lie?" So all you can say to him, and that is, "Jesus, you must be joking. I'm human. I'm human." Huh? "Did you love me?" "Oh, yes, Lord. I told you every day that I loved you." "Yeah, I know. I know, John. I know, Denis. You told me every day you loved me. But did you love me out on the street, in the people you met? Because I was in every one of them. Or did you just pass by and ignore me?" Now, that's the question we have to answer. So only you can answer that, and that's a good place to finish.